Have you guys ever heard of a DINK?
We're DINKS.
We're DINKS.
We're DINKS.
No, it's not a slur. It stands for double income, no kids. And it's essentially couples with two income streams who are deciding to stay together long term without having children. And they're coming to light in a new internet trend where they talk about the reasons why they choose to be DINKS. And the internet absolutely hates them. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, you better. Yeah, you better.
Guys, before we get into this video, if you'd like to support the work I'm doing on this channel, I have a Patreon. The link is in the description down below. And thank you to everybody who's decided to become a patron thus far. I appreciate you. Now let's talk about these double income, no kid couples that are coming to light on the internet and sparking outrage. I'll show you the two videos that went so viral, people couldn't help but make comments.
We're DINKS. We're gonna get asked daily when we plan on having kids.
We're DINKS. Of course we're gonna go out to eat every night after work.
We're DINKS. We don't have to ask our family for financial help or to watch our kid when we want to go out.
We're DINKS. We're gonna go to Costco and buy all the snacks in bulk that we want.
We're DINKS. We have disposable income to spend on whatever we would like and don't have to spend on a kid.
We're DINKS. I'm gonna go to every football game and play 18 holes whenever I want.
We're DINKS. We're gonna get asked at every single family event what we're doing with our life.
So that's the trend that we're seeing in these videos. The DINK couples come together and say, we're DINKS because we have all this disposable income that we get to use on ourselves. We get to go on vacations and football games, and we're constantly being asked by family members when we're going to have kids. The through line seems to be, in many of these videos, that they just enjoy having a ton of income, being consumers, traveling here and there, and the heart of it is they like to be able to do whatever it is they want without the responsibility of having children around. And it's no surprise that a trend like this is popping up with fertility rates dropping worldwide and people more and more making the choice no longer to have kids or to have them at a later stage in life. It seems to be that this mindset of creating dual income households with no kids is spreading not only in the United States, but worldwide. But before we get into more commentary, let's watch another We're DINKS video.
We're DINKS. We go to Trader Joe's and workout classes on the weekends.
We're DINKS. We get into snobby hobbies like skiing and golfing.
We're DINKS. We can go to Florida on a whim.
We're DINKS. We're already planning our European vacation next year.
DINKS. We get a full 8 hours of sleep and sometimes more.
We're DINKS. We get desserts and appetizers at restaurants.
We're DINKS. We can play with other kids and give them back.
We're DINKS. We still do it 3 times a week.
We're DINKS. We spend our discretionary income on $8 lattes.
We're DINKS. We max out our 401ks, Roth IRAs, and HSAs.
We're DINKS. We don't use our kids or dog as an excuse to leave a party. We just leave.
Okay, so you sort of get the gist there. A lot of it, to me, when I hear these videos, is revolving around very superficial things like money and consumerism and travel and sex. That seems to be the through line through these videos. And you know what? If that's your view of life and that's what you want out of this experience, I don't feel a lot of hatred boiling inside me upon hearing it. I just think that that is personally not for me. I think there are far more interesting things you could do with life, far deeper things you could do with life that go way beyond vacations and sex and consumerism. It's very clear to me in watching these videos that this lifestyle is not personally for me, although I am sort of in a double income, no kids situation at the moment, but not with the goal of having that be my entire life. It seems like a lot of the things that these people are talking about can be quite selfish in nature. And I know people can make the argument that not having kids is actually a selfless act, and we'll talk about that in just a moment. But it seems like the idea of not having kids is a symptom or side effect of a larger societal rot. We are only thinking about ourselves. We are only thinking about the current moment that we're in and not about what lies beyond that, what lies beyond these superficial wants and desires that we have as human beings. And there are many things that I think could be fueling this. Social media, modern feminism, consumerism, and I'm curious to hear from you guys, what do you think is the main cause of this sort of ideology and this sort of viewpoint? And as I said at the top of this video, many people are super upset at these DINK videos and they're hurling all these different comments at these couples saying, how dare you have this mindset? How dare you not want to have kids? I'm going to take a little bit of a different perspective. I think that if you are a person who truly does not want or desire children, you should not have children. Do I think the mindset may be shallow, superficial, and not well thought out? Maybe, but also I would encourage you, do not have children in a space in your life where you cannot love and care for them. One of the worst things you can do on this planet is bring in a child who is unloved and unwanted. But somewhere deep inside me, I feel like these couples are going to look back on this moment where they've touted the dink lifestyle and they're going to think we may have made the wrong decision. And maybe that comes with time. Maybe for women, it comes with the biological clock ticking, and maybe their innate instincts kicking in when it comes to having children. I just don't know that this lifestyle is all that it's cracked up to be in these 1-minute videos you see on TikTok. And it seems as though some of the haters underneath these videos feel the same way. We'll look at a few of the responses. Wall Street Silver says they should do a follow-up video at 45 when they've spent $200,000 trying to get pregnant years after the optimal fertility age and failing. And this got 2,000 likes. We do see this a lot. People choosing to hold off on having children, then deciding later down the line that that's what they want and having to invest in things like IVF and going to fertility clinics. It's an unfortunate reality that many of the women who have to endure this process are convinced when they are younger that kids is not something that you should want. And in fact, it is better to be in one of these dink households. And while for some it may be true, and they'll get to their 40s and 50s and realize they made the best decision not to have children, for many that won't be the case. Elon Musk responds saying, there is an awful morality to those who deliberately have no kids. They are effectively demanding that other people's kids take care of them in their old age. That's messed up. And that got 15,000 likes. And where to some extent I can see Elon Musk's point that later on when these dink couples grow to old age, they will be cared for in nursing homes by other people's children. I'm not quite sure that's an effective argument in convincing people to have children. If you are having children purely for the sake of having somebody to care for you in your old age, you should not have children. And if you're only having children because you feel some sort of moral duty to the human species to procreate, that might show up in the way that you raise those children. And I'm gonna throw shots at Elon Musk because he's managed to have multiple children in broken homes, which we all know is not good for society, no matter how much money you have. It's very similar to the way I view Nick Cannon, who's going to need, I don't know, a sleigh and reindeer to be able to visit all of his children this Christmas due to the fact that they're spread across the country. And at the same time as we're seeing these dinks hop on TikTok to talk about their luxurious double income lifestyles, we're seeing stories like this one. 26-year-old woman has 22 children and plans to keep going until she reaches 100. Now, of course, she has not had all these children naturally. She is pimping out surrogates in order to pump out what she wants to be 100 babies. And if you are upset at stories about double income, no kid couples, you should be just as upset about the Elon Musks, Nick Cannons, and 26-year-olds who are pumping out 100 kids of the world, because they are having children that they cannot possibly care for and love equally. And as I said before, it is the unloved and the unwanted of our society that wreak the most havoc on other members of our community. But I will venture to say that we will see a lot more double income, no kid couples than we will see 26-year-olds attempting to have 100 babies. So with that, let's watch another dink video from TikTok.
We're dinks. We're gonna be asked constantly by family, friends, and strangers when we're gonna have kids.
We're dinks. We're gonna go to Costco and buy all the snacks we want.
We're dinks. We're gonna support our friends who have kids, even if we decide to never have any.
We're dinks. We're gonna have lots of disposable income to spend on whatever we like.
We're dinks. We're gonna get chastised by people on the internet because they're gonna assume that we're just obsessed with material things, even though arguably you need a lot more material things once you have kids.
We're dinks. We don't need to find a sitter or rope our family into babysitting when we want to go out for the night.
We're dinks. We're gonna be told the only way that we'll ever be fulfilled in life is by having kids.
We're dinks. We're gonna book flights whenever we feel like it.
We're dinks. We're still gonna stick to a strict budget to meet our financial goals, no matter how much wiggle room we have in our finances.
We're dinks. We're not going to make a life-altering choice just because everybody else...
Few things to note. I do appreciate the fact that they said they will support their friends who decide to have children, even though they don't. I think that's an important point to be made. But it's interesting that they say we're not obsessed with material things, right? When you have children, you need more material things. I think what the actual argument is you're obsessed with material things that service you. And you view a child as someone that you have to service, and you don't want that in your life, which is okay. Again, if you don't want children, do not have children. But every other point that they make in this video does sort of signal to the fact that they care more about a materialist lifestyle. They talk about going to Costco and buying whatever they want, having a pantry that's full of snacks, using their income on travel and buying things for themselves. All of these things point to what I call a me, now mentality. Meaning that the way you think about the world is very me-centric and now-centric. You are thinking about you and your wants and desires for the very moment that you're sitting in, which is okay to some extent. I do encourage people to live in the present and to think about themselves to some extent. But what happens when the superficial nature of me, now wears off down the line? I'll grant that food and snacks and football games and travel is all fun, and we all enjoy these things at some point in our lives, but Does that last you forever? And when does that wear off? I do wonder what these DINK videos will look like 20 years down the line when these couples have aged a bit. Will you still be cheering about snacks and travel and football games when you're 50? Maybe. Watching these couples talk about their DINK lifestyle doesn't really make me upset. I do maybe worry for what their future looks like, but I hope that it's a very happy and fulfilled one. As I said many times throughout this video, I think the best thing for our society and our communities is happy, fulfilled, wanted, and loved people. And I very much hope that is what these double income, no kid couples are finding in their lives. And the reason I'm a bit skeptical is that for all of human history, family has been foundational to the human experience and human flourishment. And we're seeing this fall by the wayside as we move forward in time and see narratives like this continue to be perpetuated. What happens when family is no longer a keystone of the human experience? To me, when I think of life, I cannot fathom one that does not have a family involved in some way, shape, or form. And when I say family, I mean the creation of one. So it may be hard for me to listen to other people's stories and to think that they don't want that to some extent in their life. I just simply can't imagine a world where family is not at the forefront of at least most people's brains, but it seems like that's the world that we're living in now. But I actually want to think about this more on a philosophical level. I'm reminded of gratitude, which is this feeling of being thankful. And gratitude is, I think, essential to human happiness and human flourishment, which we've been talking about a lot throughout this episode. And one of the things that you can do as a human being to instill this sense of gratitude in you on a daily basis is a gratitude practice. And when you do a gratitude practice, it's important not just that you think about things that you are thankful for in your own life, but that you actually sit and think about things that you have done for other people. How have you helped lift the burden off another? How have you helped members of your community? What is a way that you have been selfless? And while I'm sure these DINK couples are going around and helping others in their community and doing something that is not just in service of themselves, but in service of others, I can't think of something greater than choosing to have a child. At least for me. I know that the moment that I have a child and I bring that person into the world, I will be fully in service of them for the rest of my life. And I know that doesn't sound appealing for a lot of other people. And again, if it does not sound appealing to you, maybe that's not something that you should do with your life. But in that moment, I will become something other than myself. I will be in service of someone other than myself. And you get to bestow your values, your morals, hopefully into a better little person who will go on to do that for generations to come. And you can view having a child as losing part of yourself, losing your independence, losing your snacks and your travel and your football games. Or you can see it as gaining a daily practice in gratitude and being thankful for what you have in this world. And that's where I think me and these DINK couples fundamentally disagree. I do not want to live a life where I'm 50 years old and I've spent the last decade of my life in full service of myself and these sort of baseless, fluctuating wants and desires that we have as human beings. I would like to be in service of a family, and a family that I know is going to go and live on and do great things for our communities and our societies. That's what keeps me motivated every single day. In fact, I'm sitting here as a 23-year-old right now, knowing that life doesn't start for me until that family begins for the most part. And everything that I'm doing now, all of the information and the wisdom that I am gaining in the experience of my young life is so that I can bestow that upon somebody who comes after me. That is my goal, but I will grant that it is not everybody else's. So I would encourage you now, if you're a young person watching this video, man or woman, and you're thinking about the possibility of having kids, whether or not that's something you want for your future, really explore and do some self-inventory on what you want on a deeper philosophical level in your life. And for some of you, I grant that it may be snacks and travel and football games and going to the gym and playing golf whenever you want. For others, it will be something different. I just hope whatever it is you do and whatever choice you make, that you are happy and fulfilled, but also that you choose at some point in your life to be in service of other people and your community, to leave this earth in a better position than it was in when you came into it. And I think you can do that as a DINK, and I think you can do that as a parent. But as always, I would love to hear your thoughts on what we've talked about today. Drop them in the comments down below. I encourage healthy debate, so duke it out, but do so respectfully. And if you like this video, like, subscribe, click the notification bell to be notified every single time I post a video for you guys, which is every single day. And I will see you next time. Bye, guys.
Yeah, you better. Yeah, you better.